What's going on, everybody? This is No Filter, a Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, Wizrad, and this is episode 17 being recorded on July 7th, 2018. I know it's been a little while since the last podcast episode. Honestly, just with E3 coming around and work and everything like that, I've been super busy. But I'm definitely going to push for some more podcast episodes. I can record these in longer bursts and get a lot more information out to you guys about what's going on with me, what some of my thoughts are about gaming at the time. And so today's episode is going to be a little bit more lax, no real cuts or anything from me. If you just want to sit down, have a good listen to a nice conversation about games and what I've been playing recently and my thoughts about E3, stay tuned. So let's just jump right into it here, because I have a huge, and I mean massive, list of games that I've been playing recently. So first game on the list is a game called Figment on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Now, I haven't completed this game yet, so I will have a video later on of a full review of the game, but so far, I'm actually really enjoying this. You can tell there's a lot of effort put into this game, full voice acting, some beautiful visuals. It's something that I feel like if you're a big I'm thinking Zelda fan, particularly like dungeons with puzzles, I feel like this game could be for you. So it's an action puzzle game where you play as, a creature within the mind of a girl who's going through some trauma in a car crash. So it kind of hits home. It's a little bit real here, but when you jump into the imagination of the girl and you're actually, I guess, a gatekeeper of her imagination or something like that, you basically realize that something's amiss, and you find this other guy who's basically he gets some stuff stolen from some crazy nightmares, I guess you could call them, and he's got to go find his stuff, but also kind of save this girl's imagination in the process. And hopefully, I haven't went through the whole game yet, but hopefully it leads to a very happy ending, because it kind of hits home at the start. It's kind of sad, and when you're going through this world of imagination in her mind, solving puzzles and fighting some enemies that are cropping up because of what's going on in her, in her head and her trauma. You go through some very, some interesting memories from the girl. So it's basically like, what happened and how her life could be in danger, really. But then you're going through and you're seeing all this stuff of her young life. And, it's really, really interesting. It's kind of gripping in some aspects. The imagination world is crazy. Just think of like some Tim Burton Nightmare Before Christmas, but all very colorful. Think of something like that for the aesthetic. It looks really cool. It's kind of in the isometric view. The visuals look pretty nice. The combat's very basic, but not exactly not like Zelda's is very in depth or anything like that. This is mainly focused on the puzzles, and there's some pretty interesting ones. So far, though, I am finding it is repeating a lot of the same sort of puzzles. Like turning a windmill into a different direction to blow some fog out of the area or something, or like going to a kill room and having to kill some like weasels that are shooting something at you. I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of repetition there, but it's not like these puzzles are taking too long, so I'm not really caring about how repetitious it seems at the start here. But that really is probably one of the only things I can think of that's a somewhat negative thing about the game. Like, I'm really impressed with, like, for the price and for what it is and like the team that's behind it. Yeah, this is really impressive. The voice acting is really good. I love the voices. It's so imaginative, man. Like, again, you're in the world of like imagination of a young girl, and it's really quite something. It's really interesting. Has like a lot of cool characters that have like rhyming schemes. They only talk in rhymes. I love that kind of stuff. If anyone's really big fans of Nintendo games with like the interesting characters and worlds, I think this could be something that you might be interested in. Again, I'll probably have a full review up, either in a separate video or in a video combining a lot of the games at once. I know a lot of you guys seem to really appreciate some of the videos where it's like, here are 5 new Switch eShop games you should take a look at, stuff like that. So I might be doing some more of those, because I love taking a look at indie games on the Switch eShop. I'll probably have a separate video about indie games and my connection to them, but indie games are a big deal, and I feel like a lot of people shouldn't be ignoring some, because this right here probably won't get a huge amount of press or anything like that, but it is something special, and I think a lot of people should be taking notice of it. So yeah, that's Figment. Expect some more coverage of that later. Another game I've been playing, which I will have a full separate review for, is called Airmail. I'll talk about it very briefly here, but think Pilot Wings, but in my opinion, a little bit more fleshed out with kind of a goofy story and a ton of content. So yeah, I will have a separate review for this. Again, I'm just very impressed with the work some of these games have and the scope of some of these things too. I think it works really well, and Airmail is definitely a good game. Played through 100%. There's many modes, and it's definitely a good game that I'll probably have a full review up sometime soon. Next game is called Ink from Digerati Entertainment, and this is a very interesting game in some ways, because I think it kind of takes on the interesting kind of paint aesthetic from like a game like Splatoon, but the platforming reminds me a lot of something like Super Meat Boy, where it's more often than not one screen, maybe a scrolling screen, but you're trying to jump around and all the platforms are invisible until you jump and then hit a double jump, and then paint flies out of you. You're basically just a white cube, and when you do the double jump, paint flies out in all directions. If it lands on a platform, it then can color up that platform for you. So basically, you're starting every game basically in just a black screen with nothing there. But then you start jumping around, shaking, moving, and all of a sudden you're hitting these platforms. And early on, you can really judge where you're going to go just by the layout of the first couple platforms. And you can kind of sometimes really speed around a level, which is really cool. But other times you have to be strategic. And if you want to go through the level quick, you have to know that you have to do double jumps purposefully just to paint platforms ahead of you. So it's very unique, and really it's kind of I don't want to say fantastic. It's not like it's the best platformer ever made, but I love when some unique concept comes out, and Ink has that for sure, and it's very, very competent in that. Some really cool levels, and a lot of them too. This is Digerati. I've reviewed it. I've looked over a few of their games on the Switch eShop, and I think they have a really good quality control, or at least what games they want to publish. I feel like they know what's going on, and I'm just excited for more Digerati games, because this is really impressive. Again, I feel like I'm probably going to do a hidden gem eShop game list. And I think this is definitely going to make the list, because I feel like just a lot of people seeing it, the visuals aren't anything too amazing or crazy, because again, you're basically a cube that jiggles or whatever, and paint that fly on these platforms, and just a basic background so that you can focus on the actual platforming action. Very, very good game, and I was debating on doing a full review for this game as well, but I do feel like just with the scope of this one, I feel like just going through in a podcast episode is really great. But definitely a big, big thumbs up for me. Definitely a game I think any platformer fan out there, especially fan of, say, The End Is Nigh on Switch or Super Meat Boy, this might be a really good pickup for you. Next game is called Auto. So I believe this is from the same developers as Redout, actually. Or I don't know if they just published this or if this was a side project for them, but Auto reminds me 100%, and I guarantee that the developers were thinking of this too, as a game very, very similar to Cut the Rope. It's not... The actual gameplay isn't the same whatsoever, but just the visuals, the design of the levels and everything like that is very similar. So basically, you have your Switch, and you have these pulleys. So you have ropes on a pulley that are holding a little hamster on a little plate. So basically, you have pulleys on the side that go up to some point above the screen, and you're literally on the touch screen pulling the pulleys with your fingers. So if you pull them down, so you swipe your thumb down on one side, that's pulling the one pulley down on that side and then pulling the hamster up, and the same thing on the other side. So a lot of it, I feel like that's a good description enough for a lot of people, for you guys to understand. But basically, if you pull one on the right side down and the other one up, you're going to move the hamster in a diagonal direction to the bottom right. So basically, again, the right finger going down, the left finger going up, you're going to be pulling that hamster to the right. If you pull it the other way, if you switch the hand directions, your finger directions, it'll go to the left. If you pull both down, the hamster will go up. If you pull both up, the hamster will go down. So you basically have to push the hamster through these different stages with hazards and all this kind of stuff, and basically just get to a door. And then if you collect 3 stars on the way, you get a 3-star rating on the level. And there's just a ton of levels, 3 full worlds. Actually, it might be 4 full worlds. I did beat the game 100% a little while ago though, but Yeah, no, again, this is interesting. It's unique. I haven't played a game quite like this before, and obviously this would be 100% home on phones, but I don't know why it's not. I think it's just a Switch exclusive. I haven't seen it in any other, Google Play Store or on the Android market. I mean, or the Apple Market or whatever you call it. I just have an Android, it's really kind of good. And for a budget price, I feel like if you're a fan of those type of games and you want to play those on your Switch, you can't go wrong. Again, I was addicted. I played through it 100%, and just really well made. It's really interesting to see a developer, coming out with a game like Redout, this full 3D futuristic racer, but then also coming out with a game like this, very similar to Cut the Rope. And honestly, if this came out on the phones and it was for free with microtransactions, however you can, I feel like this could be a big hit. It really is a really good phone kind of game, but on your Switch. The next game is called Alchemic Joust. So, long story short, I'm really not too big of a fan of this game. I was very interested in playing it because I love tower defense type games, and what this game actually kind of reminds me of is a more primitive version of a game like Swords and Soldiers, where it's like a lot of tug of war, kind of jousting, like the name suggests. And basically, you have like a periodic table of elements sort of a thing, where think of it sort of like a more intricate version of the Pokemon sort of system, red beats green, green beats blue, blue beats red kind of a thing. But basically this is more periodic tables. So basically you're mixing elements to create new elements, and those elements are then used as units in your battle. My issue here with this game is basically it's just a static screen that looks the exact same pretty much all the time, except for the new elements you used. You have one base on your side, an enemy base on the other. Not very large, nothing interesting in the landscape, and you're using your enemies, so you're seeing what the other enemy has. So they send out a floating fireball or something at you. Then you on the other side send out a rain cloud that then takes away that fireball, and then goes and collects a checkpoint or something, or goes and attacks the enemy's base. And and then it just kind of rinses and repeats. Your units basically take time to reload or whatever. And the only issue I find with this game, it's very intricate, very deep, and I like that it doesn't really hold your hand too much. It does go through like a very intricate tutorial, but it really just kind of throws a lot at you. Think of like the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 tutorial. It just throws a lot at you, and then you kind of figure it out for yourself anyway. It's just the gameplay is so slow. Like, even just waiting, like, maybe I've only played the game maybe for, actually, I shouldn't even say only, it's like 3 hours of the game, and it just hasn't really picked up speed for me. You play, so basically you're fighting with these units, but so much of the game is just, you're only tapping or you're selecting the unit you're going to send out, right? And that's fine in some games like Swords and Soldiers. It's very similar to that too, but in Swords and Soldiers, there's a lot of different things on the landscape that you do to switch up what you're doing. First off, the enemy units respond a lot quicker. Your units respond a lot quicker. So say you basically have like a queue or whatever for when your unit will start up again. Swords and Soldiers and other games like it were very quick in when they're doing that. Whereas Alchemic Joust, it takes forever to do this, and you end up spending so much of your time waiting as these very slow-moving periodic elements that you send out are going to attack something with not any interesting animation, nothing too crazy. So I think you guys kind of see what I mean. It's just a very slow game in that aspect, and it really just kind of didn't click for me like that. Not to say the game isn't good in its own way of having a lot of very, again, like detailed, and I guess you could say difficult or just intricate design with it, and how you can really expand your arsenal of, of periodic elements. And just different elements in general, like clouds and lava and clay and mud and all that kind of stuff. And you really tailor make it to how you want to play. So it's not like a lot of other tower defense games where you end up playing the same way as pretty much everyone's going to play. This has so many different variations of what you can do to improve your score and your time and all that kind of stuff. But the game is just so slow. If they improved that core gameplay concept, either making it quicker, making it more flashy, just to kind of take your mind off of the very simple inputs that you're doing, I think my interest would be a lot more, intrigued. But because it's kind of basic looking, it's very slow and just not too incredibly interesting, it just lost my attention and I just couldn't really finish through the game. I think the game is a ridiculous amount of content too, so even just seeing the menus and how much stuff you can unlock, yeah, I feel like this game could have went on forever. And again, maybe I missed it picking up a little bit, but I just couldn't push my through it. It was just way too slow for me. It just wasn't my thing. But hey, it could be for you guys. It's not an expensive game, and if you do like tower defense and you're not too affected by the thought of a somewhat slower paced tower defense game, but with more strategy involved, I imagine it would be. It could be for you, but again, for me, just didn't click. The last game that I'm going to do a sort of full review on, just in this episode here, you'll probably see the titles of these games in the thumbnail actually, is Beaker Reloaded. So how I understand it, Beaker is actually a very old game from past systems, and this is a remastered version on Switch. So this is a 2D side-scrolling shooter. Sometimes it switches to a top-down vertical shooter, switches around all the time like that. But basically, you're playing as a bee. Your mother bee was murdered along with a lot of your other bees, I guess, and you have to go fight the enemies and basically just win like that. It's a 2D shooter. What are you expecting from a story, right? But it's set in a world as a bee, so you're going through a lot of these levels that are much larger in size. You can see like a human world, or you're going by like grass, strands of grass and stuff like that, or about the size of you. It's interesting to see, and I can totally see this being unique back in the day when it was first out. But obviously, I feel like we've seen a lot of this kind of stuff after that. So again, the game is a little bit cheaper. So I can see why they re-release a game like this as Beaker Reloaded. I'm sure it was very well received in the past as far as the mechanics, because it really does hold up well. It's really kind of satisfying to build up your gunshots. I love the sort of roguelike aspect to it, where basically you get up to past a certain level, then you can restart to that point, and you just keep growing and growing like that. So it's not like a roguelike where you start from the very beginning every time you die. This one's more, you have those few lives, you get past level 10 for example, and then anything past level 10 where you die, you're always going to go back to that level 10. Or you can go back and play their ones or whatever, but I love that about games, because you're always working your way to something. It doesn't feel like you're always retreading the exact same thing over and over again, so that's something I definitely appreciate, and I feel like a lot of games need to do this more. So if this really was designed, way back in the day, then this is really impressive. I really like this kind of gameplay hook it has, and it definitely kept my interest going through it. Other than that, though, visuals are kind of bleh. Like, again, it's an older game, but it's fine when you're playing on a handheld. You put it on a TV screen, and at least to me, I was just like, ugh, kind of gross. It's not even like the enemies or the character designs or anything like that are too interesting. Even the bullets aren't anything too crazy, but it's just a competent 2D side-scrolling shooter. And again, if you want one of those, I feel like there's quite a few of them on Switch, but this might be one, especially if you're a fan of the original Beaker, or you have an interest in some of the older games you can get on Switch with the lack of, a true virtual console, whatever you want to call it, even though we're getting a ton of VC-type games or older games anyway. This might be for you. I enjoyed it. I beat it through. There's many difficulty levels. It's not the longest game, but again, the difficulty levels add quite a bit of replay value. And that might be something for you guys. It's not anything amazing, but it's definitely not a terrible game in any stretch of the imagination. So, Beaker Reloaded, it's pretty good. And the last game that I want to talk about, as far as some of the Switch indie eShop games I've been playing, I will have a full review for this game because it is from one of the better indie devs on the Switch right now, from Fabraz, who created Slime Song, which, if you guys haven't played yet, is a true hidden gem. Fantastic. In fact, I think we're getting new DLC, another new free DLC pack, which adds apparently 30% to the actual game, which is insane because the original game already had a stupid amount of content. It's quite amazing. And actually, they have a limited run games physical version coming up, which I'll be getting soon. So, anyway, Spirit Fear DX, I believe they are just publishing this, and basically Spirit Fear DX is a mix of, think of a top-down Zelda mixed with a dodgeball game or like Disc Jam or something like that, where basically, you have your own side, they have their side, your enemy has the other side, and you have to just hit the ball into their end, their entire back wall. Basically just get it past them and get it into their end. So basically, some of your players will have a sword that you can hit it with, or you might be a wizard where you have basically a fireball you shoot out in front of you that then can hit the ball back to the other player. It tries to keep it very basic like that, but there are items that you can use. There's also a dodge or a roll mechanic that kind of push you further along to hit the ball if it's out of reach. Kind of think of like Mario Tennis Aces in that aspect. It has a really cool, I don't know if it's 8 or 16-bit. I think it's 16-bit kind of art style. It looks really interesting. And think of it, I guess you could say it's sort of like a Minish Cap, the Legend of Zelda Minish Cap kind of a look to it, which is pretty striking. And a ton of unique and creative different courts that you can play on. And probably my favorite part about the game is different modes. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going way too in-depth with this because I do plan on doing a separate review, but all I'm going to say is this is definitely a really good game. If you like... Actually, yeah, I'll leave it with this. If you like good co-op games, Sphere DX is definitely one you might want to look into, especially if you're playing handheld and you want to play co-op. I'll just leave it at that. So those are all the games I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with. But these other games here, I've been playing and I bought. Finally, other than limited run games, these are the first 3 games I bought physically on Switch in 2018. So I bought Mario Tennis Aces, which I've started. I just really got to get back to. Again, I've just been super busy. I have so many games to play. But I'm liking it so far. I started through the adventure mode, played a couple matches online, got destroyed by one guy the first time, and then I went back and I won like quite a few in a row. But man, some of these players on Switch can really get difficult. So Mario Tennis Aces, I bought that physical. Can't wait to jump back into that. The Blob, I just recently bought. I loved The Blob on Wii. I can't wait. I think The Blob 2 is coming out on Switch physical as well. I'll definitely be getting both. I just love the uniqueness of the game and the music and just the whole premise. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I feel like The Blob might not age as well as at least especially as much as The Blob 2, but I'm looking forward to it nevertheless. And at a discount price to get a physical game on Switch, heck yeah. Then I also bought Ys 8, which I've always been interested in the Ys series of games, the Ys franchise, but I just never, I didn't even know how to pronounce Ys correctly until this year. So, I'm definitely looking forward to play it, but I think I'm going to be waiting until after I play Octopath Traveler. Speaking of which, I need to play that prologue demo now. Apparently it does carry over into the game, so I definitely got to pick up that demo and play before Octopath Traveler comes out, because I am officially stopping all other games just to play Octopath Traveler, because I am so excited for that game. You guys don't even know. Bravely Default team, one of the best game developers out there. Can't wait. So many freaking games. But some of the other games I bought on the eShop, actually, which I'll just go over very briefly. I've got Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn, and yes, I thank you, Saber Interactive, for keeping your promise. They seem to go dead silent about the whole giving Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn free to people who bought NBA Playgrounds on the Switch before the online came out. And honestly, like, the actual combat is kind of not good. It feels super stiff and just bleh. But as far as the actual setting and the humor and just kind of playing through the game, like not really paying too much attention to it kind of a thing, I actually really enjoyed it, and definitely worth the price for me. I wouldn't want to be paying $20 for it, or I think in Canada you can buy the physical version for like $39.99, which is absurd. But if I could see this as a $10 game, if you like some of the comedy, I always like Shaq. He's a really cool dude. I think a $10 purchase for this would probably be okay. I think it'd be pretty decent. So I'd say wait for a sale if that was the case. Or if you got it for free like me, then I'm totally happy with paying. I believe I got NBA Playgrounds on sale when I bought it for like $9.99 already. So 2 games for $10. And, this one is competent, I guess I could say. I appreciate it, and it was very funny, so happy I played it. Another game which I was touting a little bit, I was really excited after Nintendo put a big emphasis on it in the Indie Spotlight, or Nindies at Night, whatever it's called. Yeah, Lightfall. I was really touting it. It did look really good, and I did definitely enjoy it. I love the unique ability of creating 3 or 4 platforms at once when you're jumping. So you have these huge expanses you're running through. I think it's like a speedrunner's dream. I love these type of platformers. It's perfect for me, but at the end of the day, it was just a really good platformer. I was expecting something Celeste level. It's not quite there. But yeah, it's definitely a really good platformer that I'd highly suggest, especially for the price. I can't believe it's $14.99. That's absurd. So I think it's maybe like $12, maybe $9.99 in the States. Unreal. Go buy that game now. Seriously. Oh, by the way, have you guys seen that Semblance trailer? The game Semblance on Nintendo Switch eShop is coming out. Take a look at the trailer. That game looks amazing. I love how unique it is, and I'm definitely buying that game day one. Another game I've been playing, I got it on the eShop, I think for 50 cents in Canada, 49 cents. Frederick Resurrection of Music. It's weird seeing the best sellers list on the Switch eShop having these games that are on sale like 95% off kind of a thing, and then all of a sudden they're like number 6 on this list and like beating Breath of the Wild and all that. Because no, this game isn't amazing, it isn't like some really good game or anything, but I can appreciate the amount of work kind of put into it. They have full, lengthy, fully voice-acted cutscenes that, they're kind of not stop motion, but like they're kind of just 2D sprites that they kind of move and bend around a little bit. So it's not anything too amazing, but, it's kind of interesting. And I like rhythm games, even though the actual rhythm gameplay of this is not that great. But, for 50 cents, I can't say I didn't have a good amount of enjoyment to definitely warrant that price. Another game I played was Astro Bear's Party. It was $1.19, I believe, in Canada, so it was probably under $1 in the States. And it's pretty decent for like a little party game. It's definitely not very long. I think you'll get your money's worth if you plan on playing a little bit with co-op or with a 4-player party. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. It reminds me of the game Fusion Frenzy, and one of my favorite mini games from it was, I believe, called Trailblazer, where basically you're running and you have a beam of light behind you, and basically you just you just have to avoid other people's beam of light, and hopefully they run into yours as you're kind of moving around to create it difficult for those people to move around this sphere of a ball. Think like Super Stardust kind of a thing. But it's decent. I'm glad I got it on sale. I don't think it would have been worth the full $4.99, at least for me. I haven't had a party of people to actually play that one yet. And but when I do that, just having that game on the Switch downloaded, I think that could be a good use. So I haven't got my full use out of it yet, but what I played single player and stuff, it's definitely competent. It's pretty good. Runner 3. So this. I think I made a talk about it before, but in my last episode. But yeah, Runner 3 is a great game. I really like it. I beat everything. I love the music. The platforming is one of the best endless runners you'll ever play. Not really endless, just one of the best automatic scrolling runners you'll play. I haven't got all the bonus stuff yet, but this is a game I will be going back to over and over, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, seriously, guys, I have so many games I haven't played yet. I plan on doing a video of my backlog of games because, as you guys can see, I have a ton of games I've been playing and trying to beat and going through. It's really kind of overwhelming, the amount of games. My backlog has got to be over 20 games now, which is really not good, really not healthy. So yeah, hopefully I can slow it down a little bit, but with the summer kind of really ramping up for Switch releases finally, I think my shot over the last 6 months is really kind of it's slimmed down a little bit, and now I'm going to start hitting some more of the heavy hitters. So I did want to talk about 2 more games for PS4 that I've been playing. One was Arkham Knight, and all I got to say is blah. Not a good game. I just couldn't drag myself through it, and that doesn't happen to me often. I just couldn't play through this game. I probably played upwards of 5 hours of the game, and I just could not get into it. I've tried multiple times playing the game now, and I just can't go through it. It's so samey. The Batmobile control feels awful. The missions are just boring. It's like they just stopped trying. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just hoping that Spider-Man doesn't run into this kind of a problem for me. The Spider-Man on PS4, but I just couldn't go through the game. Just couldn't beat it. Just can't do it. Anyway, so yeah, Arkham Knight. Not good. Not a good game. Not. It's very pretty, but again, not good. Another game though that I have been playing and following the E3 conferences, especially the Sony one, it got me hyped and I was ready to play this. So Last of Us Remastered on the PS4. So I started it up. I played through probably a good 3-4 hours of it. Haven't got back into it. I got super caught up with work and other stuff, but I will be going back and playing through it 100%. I can't wait for Last of Us 2, guys, and I just love this game. But to be honest here, I am noticing some aging to the game, and not in fantastic ways. However, still to this day, it's one of the best games I've played. It's just you are seeing some of the design choices and some of the gameplay elements that don't really work as well in today. Today I feel like the game came out like 5+ years ago, 6 years ago. It's just clear that so many other games have taken from it over the last half decade or so, and they still are today. So I feel like they've improved on it in some ways, and some ways they just haven't even hit that point yet. So yeah, in some ways it's definitely aging poorly in some ways, but in others I think it's still narrative wise and I think in a lot of gunplay aspects and just kind of design aspects, I think it's above a lot of the competition still for, a very old game that a lot of people have copied. I'm just excited to go through it again anyway. The story's so emotional, so impactful, and I just love the survival and stealth aspect to it. It's really, really good. Those are all the games that I've been playing recently. I'm sure I've even missed some more, which, if you guys can believe it, so many games, seriously, it's just ridiculous. I need to slow down on my game intake, I think. But again, just having a Switch to be played portably is just amazing, and nothing else to say about that. So let's get on to my thoughts about E3. So I realize I haven't actually made a full video about going over the Nintendo's E3 2018 Direct, so I figured I'll just have a full segment in here. And maybe upload it separately, probably not. I do have some topic videos I want to go about talking about over E3, but again, I've just been so busy recently, I just haven't had the chance. First, let's just go through every game that they showed off the Direct, and I'll do a very quick impressions of what happened for Nintendo. So, first game they showed, I loved it. They showed Daemon X Machina, definitely a game I'll be looking out for. And I just love that they opened the show with this metal, heavy rock kind of soundtrack and these mechs fighting and really badass looking, awesome art style. And I love that cut that they do. Nintendo really loves these cuts in the music trailers that they have. Remember that one for the Zelda trailer that they did? I think it was in 2016. That was pretty amazing. It might have been 2017 actually. I forget. But that abrupt cut when they were showing that one trailer was pretty cool for Daemon X Machina here. And definitely something I'm looking forward to. The pedigree looks pretty amazing for the developers actually making the game, so that's one I'm looking out for. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country. Wow. I mean, this is the type of DLC I want to see. This is the type of DLC I was hoping Zelda Breath of the Wild would be. Not that the Breath of the Wild one wasn't good. I really enjoyed it, but yeah, this is what we're looking for here, guys. This is really good. I'm definitely getting that. I already bought the season pass or whatever you want to call it, and I haven't went back to play any of the other content they've released. I know they've had so many patches and new free updates and new content, and they're having that challenge mode. Yeah, I gotta go back to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 soon. I'm pretty excited for that. Next game they showed, which is pretty cool, but I don't know if I'll get it. I'll probably get it maybe on a sale, is Super Mario Party. I don't have too many parties with a lot of people that are really going to be interested in playing Super Mario Party. It looks interesting. I love that they're using new ideas with the Switch. That was pretty cool to see that one patent that they had with using multiple switches at once, where they basically just swipe between the two to show the joining points. Really cool. I'm really excited to actually see kind of how that's implemented, and who knows, with it having online, maybe I will purchase the game. But a lot of my mini game action kind of party games that I played back in the day were on Xbox, Fusion Frenzy especially. I have had my fair share of playing Mario Party, actually a lot over the last decade or so for me actually. And those are the older ones on GameCube that I've played a lot. So I'm keeping my eye out for it definitely, but I'll have to see if it'll warrant the full $80 in Canada for me. So we'll see. Next game they showed, though, which is massive for me. I can't wait for this game. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I don't mind the name. Like, a lot of people want to say the game isn't, I mean, that the name sounds pretty terrible or whatever. I think it's okay. Like, I understand that some people might think tree houses, and it does kind of worry me about if this game will come out with, like, the 3-game aspect. Like they did with Fates. I think that was a terrible, terrible idea. The games themselves were still decent, but I feel like having to commingle amongst 3 versions really just kind of made each other version worse after you play the first game. In fact, I still haven't even played through Conquest, and I bought it. And I wanted to play through Birthright, Conquest, and Revelations, but I still haven't even done that. Anyway, yeah, Three Houses. I'll probably have a fuller video talking about it, but yeah, I'm loving the new look to it. I like that the actual battle sequences seem a lot more in depth. You have multiple people with you. The camera movement's really cool, and it looks like they're using the sort of Fire Emblem Warriors character models. I'm excited. It looks really good. The next game they showed was Overcooked 2. I have played Overcooked on PS4. It was pretty fun. Honestly, it does get me super anxious when I'm playing it or stressed, and maybe that's not exactly what I look for, but depending on if I find it for a good sale, I might pick it up, but haven't picked up the first one, didn't feel like I really have the need for it on Switch, but if I did, I'd definitely be getting on Switch. I'm not sure if this might be a timed exclusive or something too, actually. Anyway, next game they showed was Killer Queen Black, which has a lot of support and excitement around it, actually. I've never heard of the arcade game or anything like that, but I do love Joust. I believe I played it on Super Nintendo, Joust. I know it was an arcade classic, Joust. Not the actual arcade classics on Switch, but I know it was a really good arcade game. But yeah, I played it on SNES with one of my roommates back in university. And yeah, we play that all the time. I love Joust. So seeing a game like this on the Switch, I feel like this might be a buy for me. I'll have to look into it a little bit more though. Next game they had was Hollow Knight, and fuck yeah, I love these releasing today announcements. I love these things, and yeah, Hollow Knight for sure, loved it. Yeah, I bought it right away. $14.99 too, that's amazing. I think it was $19.99 maybe in Canada, but either way. Again, I still haven't played it though. Jeez, I have so many games to play, but I can't wait to actually play through it. I just realized I did skip over one game that I did buy, and I just haven't. Okay, Fortnite, obviously. So I skipped over Fortnite. I do have it. I have played a few matches. I love the idea of the Battle Royale. I've ever since the Hunger Games came out, I always wanted to see a game where it was literally, take an hour or something, take half an hour to play through a match, but you're trying just to survive against all these other people, permadeath, all that good stuff, and they have it here with Fortnite, but I feel like there's still a game that needs to come out that can really take advantage of this, have a full-fledged game surrounding this that isn't super basic, that isn't for the, literally for the casualist of casual gamers, and they're all playing it, right? I want to see a fully in-depth, surviving the cold and the weather around you, not just the ball and people shooting you. I want to see a fully fledged sort of Hunger Games Battle Royale kind of an aspect of a game, and I want to see that released. So I'm waiting for something like that to really get invested. But I understand the hype, I understand the excitement for Fortnite, but I don't appreciate how many people just jump onto this bandwagon. But anyway, Fortnite. Definitely have it. Definitely have played it. Quite a few matches on it. Haven't won yet though. I think my highest I've got was third place, maybe second. I think it was third place. But yeah, no, I just haven't really gone into the building aspect. I was hiding behind trees. I put up walls and I put up ramps and stuff, but I wasn't really making all these stupid towers like all these other people do. But anyway. Next game they showed was the Octopath Traveler and the new demo that came out on June 14th. Again, I love these shadow announcements. Nintendo's just oh yeah, by the way, you can play this now. A full demo that carries over into the new game. I love this stuff Nintendo does. Yeah, I as you guys know, I'm ridiculously excited for Octopath Traveler. So, other game they showed, and this was, I believe, in just one of the reels where they showed quite a few games, was Starlink Battle for Atlas, which I think I'm going to have to do a separate video on again, but I am a massive Ubisoft Toronto fan. I do live in Toronto, and they've made some of the best games, honestly, from Ubisoft. They made Splinter Cell Blacklist, which is easily by far the best Splinter Cell game and one of the best stealth games I've ever played. But seeing them go ahead on this Starlink Battle for Atlas, which could be a really big hit or could be a pretty big miss, I feel like having Star Fox included is really cool. I've wanted an R-Wing amiibo for so long, but to get something like this, which is even bigger size, I'm totally in. But I was excited for Starlink Battle for Atlas even before Star Fox was shown. The actual character models and the world it was building up around it looked really cool. I loved it. It made me think of like a Fortnite mixed with a like a Star Wars: The Clone Wars or something like that. It looked really nice, and I'm just interested in just the game itself in general. So either way, this is one of my most anticipated Switch games easily. Ubisoft's been killing it on Switch with the honestly, let's be real, this is basically an exclusive game. You're gonna see it more than triple the sales that it would have on all other systems combined, I would think. Yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing so far for Starlink. Looking forward to see a little bit more before it's released. Next game they showed was Arena of Valor. Not too interested in these MOBAs or whatever you even call them. I think this is sort of like a League of Legends kind of a thing. I'll take a look at it though. I think it's supposed to be free, so we'll see. Next game they showed was Minecraft. I thought it was already out. I've literally never actually sat down and played Minecraft. I have no idea. I could see 10-year-old me, after playing Lego and stuff, being huge into this, so I really appreciate the place that Minecraft has taken in this digital age to make kids still want to create. You know, like kind of what I had back in Lego days, but yeah, Minecraft, I do plan on maybe getting at some point, but that'll probably be way down the road just to test it out, but it'd have to be on a pretty big sale for like $5 or something. Next game they showed was Sushi Striker. I did play the demo. It was decent. I kind of like what it was, but I don't think it's going to be for me, at least not for that price. That is kind of disappointing to see them stick with I think it's like $69.99 in Canada, which is just stupid. And I get that it has this really good production value. The gameplay loop is actually really good and has a lot of content. I get it. It shouldn't be that price. Just compare it to anything else, I just don't see a game like that, physical, from Nintendo first party, being that much. I don't know. I hate being one of those people that says, oh, it's not worth the price because of this, because of the scope of it. You know, it's only about how good the game is, but just something for me, it just doesn't click. Just being a puzzle game like that. But yeah, next game, Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle Donkey Kong's Adventure. I've been meaning to buy this for so long, not so long, but just since it released, and I'm just super upset that I haven't had the chance to play it because I fucking love Mario & Rabbids. I 100%ed that game, and yeah, I'm definitely getting this Donkey Kong's Adventure DLC. Love it. Next game they showed was Pixark. Looked kind of like I think it's actually from Ark Survival Evolved. I think it's like a side project from them that's kind of mixing that with Minecraft visuals, I guess. Looks okay. Probably a no for me, but who knows? Could happen. Just Dance 2019 they showed. Not for me. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I have it on PS4, so probably a no. I mean, it sucks all these games coming out late. I'm probably going to have to do a video about this, but it's going to lose all of its luster, that it won't sell as well here, and then the companies will be stupid and think, oh, well, it didn't sell on Switch, so now we don't need to put all these other games on it. It's just super frustrating, but either way, I think that's a big hit for everybody. It's just kind of funny that they didn't have some sort of focus on it, but I understand they had all the newer games to show and more exclusive stuff, so yeah. Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion was next. That's another thing I still have to get. I've seen some videos of it. It seems really difficult, and the level design seems amazing, and I like that they've showed everybody that, no, Splatoon 2 single player can be really good, and this shows glimpses of what the original had, but it expands on it even better. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing that at some point. But just with so many other games out, I just don't think I can go back and play an online multiplayer game for extended periods of time like that. The one thing I do is play Rocket League. Still, you know, I have hundreds of hours in that by now. And it's just so easy to pick up, play 1 or 2 matches, 5 minutes, and just drop it. It's perfect for that. Next, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Played it on Wii U. Loved it. Really good game. So I highly suggest if anyone hasn't played it and doesn't have a Wii U, pick it up. It's a really good game. But yeah, that's a no for me to rebuy that. Crash Insane Trilogy, I do plan on picking that up at some point. It's just I've been buying all these physical games here the last couple weeks, and there's just so many games coming out that I feel like I can wait. And knowing Activision, they can probably drop that price down to, I think it's $54.99 in Canada or $49.99. So I could probably see them drop it down to $30 here, and that'd be worth the buy for me then. Next game they showed was Ninjala, which I'm definitely interested in. I've seen quite a few different gameplay videos of it, and yeah, it definitely looks like they kind of have a little bit of the Splatoon aesthetic, but it looks wacky, looks crazy. I've heard that there might be some issues with the camera. Hopefully they work that out, but yeah, that's definitely a game I'm keeping an eye out on for sure. Carcassonne, honestly, or Carcassonne. I don't even remember what the game is. I do think it looked decent, but just like that was my thought, but I literally can't even describe what it looks like to you guys, so I'm just gonna skip that one for now. They showed FIFA 18 and 19. Fuck EA. Yeah, no buy for me whatsoever. Boycott EA, seriously. Next game they showed was Ark Survival Evolved, and I'm interested in this. I just hate seeing a game come out way later on Switch. It'll be full price, but I'm expecting this to drop and I might pick it up. It did interest me on Steam, but I just can't see myself buying full priced games on Steam, or just any games on Steam anymore. I have so many games on Steam that I just won't be able to get to play because it's just on Steam. I hate having to sit down at a computer to play a game. Next, they showed Wasteland 2 Director's Cut. I know a lot of people are excited about this, but I don't really know too much about it, so whatever for me. Next they showed was Paladins, which I'm waiting for the free version of it to come out. Apparently it's a very good, competent sort of an Overwatch game. I thought this game might have came out before Overwatch, actually, or maybe it was in development before it and then it just released like a week or two after Overwatch and then was just completely overtaken. But it looks really good so far. I've been watching some video, Nia the Video Gamer and Team Red Talks Nintendo play it and stuff like that, and yeah, it looks really good. Next, they showed Fallout Shelter, which was shown at the Bethesda conference. And I played it on phone for a little bit. I did download it because it is free. At some point, I'll probably play it, but I have no rush to play through it again. Next, they showed Dark Souls Remastered, which I still don't understand. It was delayed all this time, and I have no idea what's going on with this game. I did play this already, the Prepare to Die edition on Steam a few summers ago. And I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't beat it, but I loved it. I went really far. I went past the Red Dragon, I believe. And really, really good game. And I'd love to see... Actually, I'm going to be playing Bloodborne on PS4 soon, so I'm looking forward to that. Next game they showed was SNK Heroines. Again, I'm not a big 2D fighter fan. Just not a big 2D fighter fan, but I'm going to put this as a maybe because it's really taking in some really cool characters. They even have Shovel Knight in it, which is really cool. So that might be a pickup even for me as not a big 2D fighting fan. Next game was Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Pretty, I hate seeing just 3DS ports coming to Switch that are HDified. They don't look too great, but yeah, I don't know. Just I haven't really got into Monster Hunter. I played Monster Hunter 3 on Wii. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I just don't have any like immediate friends that play Monster Hunter, so I'm not really going to be going on too many conquests or whatever you call them, requests with them, playing co-op. So it's a maybe for me. Like even when I see like Monster Hunter 4 and Generations and stuff like that on 3DS for like $10 or $15 on the Switch, on 3DS eShop for sale, I still don't pick them up. I don't know. At some point I'll probably want to pick it up. Monster Hunter World did intrigue me. I was very close, but I'm just going to wait for that to drop in price. Next was Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. That's another game I will be picking up physically, but I did recently buy The New Order and the Old Blood Dual Pack on PS4. I want to play those first before I jump into The New Colossus, but I will be getting The New Colossus on Switch for sure. Next was The World Ends With You, Final Remix. That's one of my favorite DS games for sure. I don't know if I want to wait for a sale for it because the DS games are still very readily available for me to play. But yeah, it's something I might be picking up at some point. It does kind of sour me that it's basically a mobile port put onto the Switch. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't end up like that Chrono Trigger port they did to Steam. Last three games. So Mega Man 11. Really good. I'm really excited to actually to buy that. That's 100% going to be a buy on Switch. Mario Tennis Aces. Yeah, just another quick trailer at the very end of the montage. Bought the game and I'm enjoying it so far for sure. The demo was actually really good. And the last game they showed was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, taking up so long or so much of that conference. I just don't understand. They have a Treehouse Live where they could explain all the boring stuff, but they decided to take 25 minutes or whatever it was to go over every little detail about the game. I get that they wanted to show that it is a brand new game, but come on, like, why do you have a Treehouse? You could have led right into it and then people wouldn't have felt the need to follow up with that. You could have shown all the new stuff and just went ahead from there. I don't know. Either way, obviously it's gonna be a day one buy. It looks really good. I like the changes that they made. I like the characters. That they have everybody in there. I've always loved playing as the Ice Climbers just because of how unique they were. And having Ridley is really cool. It's really cool to see. I like how they made him look sort of like geriatric or whatever you want to call it, where he's kind of like leaning into himself to make himself seem smaller on the stage, but realistically, if he stretched out, he'd still be massive. So really cool how they kind of made him fit. And and the Inklings look pretty cool in the game. And I'm excited for it. But yeah, okay, maybe I shouldn't even say excited. I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm definitely getting that game. That's gonna be a great game. But that's pretty much it. I have no crazy excitement for it, and really it kind of was my worst nightmare with Nintendo, is that they're going to have such a big emphasis on Smash that it would take over all the other announcements, or lack of announcements, I guess, for the Direct. So I know initially I was really excited because the amount of games they're announcing and they're releasing, just the games, there's so many there that I'm going to be buying, so there's just so many games to play. But at the same time, the hypeness, the lack of new announcements that they really showed us kind of soured it for me. And after the fact, when I really looked back at it, it definitely dropped their conference down to, if I had to rate it, originally I gave it a B. I probably have to give it a C, or maybe even a C minus because of that. It was kind of my worst nightmare that they'd focus just on Smash, which they essentially did. They did show some of these other games that are really great, but you guys know what I mean. Yeah, so I'm realizing this podcast is going on for way longer than I expected, so I'm going to have to cut that off here. In the next podcast, or maybe in a separate video, I will go over all of E3 2018. So I'll go over Sony, Microsoft, Bethesda, Square Enix, Ubisoft, and I guess that dogshit EA, whatever it was. I'll go over all those in a later episode. But yeah, this is a lot of talking in a row, so even my voice, I feel like, is kind of dropping off a little bit here. So I want to thank you guys for watching episode 17 of No Filter and Nintendo Podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I'd love to hear you guys' comments, how you want me to improve, anything, any new video ideas that you want to throw at me, any questions you have for me. I do plan on doing a sort of Q&A video at some point soon, but yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you all next time.